So hey, what's up you guys, how's it going? It's Papa, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my Bystial Sprite list that I took to my previous LA Regional that just happened yesterday at the time of recording. And the deck was a whole lot of fun. There's definitely some iterations that I want to do to this deck. I was originally going to be playing Runic Sprite, but I didn't have enough testing with any of the Runic cards to really get all the combos down, all the playstyles. I just didn't really feel comfortable either with skipping my battle phase. Because I felt like during the LA Regionals, a lot of people were just trying to win in time, and it did happen where I did see a lot of people lose in time and they lost to things that were just out of their control. Happened to me a couple times, but you know what, that's just Yu-Gi-Oh sometimes, so it is what it is. But the deck was really good. I really like this build. There's definitely more that I want to add to it, and I'll go over that in this list. But other than that, the deck I really couldn't complain too much about. I think if anything, I'll change something with the side deck, and then there's a few cards that I want to change in the main deck as well. But other than that, I feel like the deck was really good. I definitely do feel like this is a good contender in the upcoming format. And without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and jump into it. Starting off with the main deck, we do play 3 copies of Sprite Blue, because of course we do. You have to be maxing out on the blues. It's definitely the best Sprite name in the deck. 3 copies of Spright Jet. This card, I shouldn't really have to explain too much here. Being able to grab Sprite, Smashers, and Starter is, of course, always good. But now that you have the Trap card, you can always add that as well if you prefer it. 1 red, 1 carrot, and 1 pixies. I see a lot of people cutting pixies, and I don't really like the idea of doing that. I get why they cut it, because you don't want to open up too many searcher names, but pixies is still good, especially when you're going to a regional where you never know what you're going to face. I definitely felt like I really wanted to have the pixies in the deck in general, also with another card that I'm playing when we get to it, why I also really wanted to play pixies. But we do play the 9 Sprite names. I felt like this was really good. For the Bystial lineup, I only played 2 copies of Jurisworm and 2 copies of Magnamut. So I really wanted to play more copies of these. I really wanted to try fitting room for the for this one, the Seronir, but I didn't. So I ended up just playing the 2 and 2 split. I did want to play a third of this, if anything. Probably play 3 of these, 2 of this, and then maybe 1 of this in the future, just going forward. This card was really good. They were both really good. Being able to have DD Crows that are also just bodies and quick effects, that's insane. So these are basically really broken cards. Being able to just get rid of any interruption. This is an easy way of outing the Draco's Tapelia. Because when it's sent to the graveyard, it gets to send a monster on the field to the grave. So that's really nice. And then this being able to just search this is really good as well. I didn't play any other dragons in the deck, so I was only ever really adding the Jurisworm. But going forward, I definitely want to fit more names. I don't know if I would play the good Bystial card, the Secret Rare. I don't know its name, but I don't think I would play that going forward. I think I would just add multiple names of these ones in here. That's it for the Bystial lineup. For normal summons, we are on 2 copies of Hyperia, Card's Insane, being able to just draw 1 on summon. 1 copy of Cap Shell, same thing, just being able to draw a card is nice. And then we did play the Wind Up Kitten. This was very debatable. I didn't really know how I was going to feel about this for the event, but it was actually really good. Being able to bounce back the Draco's Tapelia, using it as bait, basically, being able to bait out Baron de Fleur. Was really good during the event as well. Wind Up Kitten definitely had its usages. I did definitely use it enough to where I could say that this could stay in the main deck. I really like this card in this deck a lot, and I think it is a good mainstay. Going first, I did end up siding it out, but going second, it's really broken. So definitely play that. For hand traps, I didn't really play a whole lot. I opted for 3 copies of DD Crow, 2 copies of Ash, 2 copies of Bell, and then 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. I definitely felt like the 3 Crow were necessarily, especially with what I'm playing in the deck, but 3 Imperm was definitely more versatile because I didn't want to lose the talents. I really thought this was the most appropriate hand trap to play, and it also helps when you're going second and you draws for turn, being able to use this to just bait out a negation, hitting again Baron, Draco's Tapelia. The Catch Tier of Fenrir was also really popular, so being able to stop that as well was really good. But Imperm definitely had its usages. DD Crow was really good too because there was definitely a lot of tier players. I kind of wanted to max out on the bells, but I didn't, and I think that's kind of where I went wrong here, was not playing multiple bells, because this is really good against both tier and Spright. I also played against Mathmech during the event, so this would have been really good against it as well, being able to stop the trap card. But With the Bystials, it did more than enough for me to just be able to beat that matchup, but having a third Bell definitely probably would have been nice. The only debatable one was probably the Ashe. I see a lot of people cutting Ashe, but I wanted to respect Rogue. Hand traps like Ashe was definitely what's going to be able to help you win in the earlier matchups of the regionals. And I don't know, the card was okay. It was like subpar if anything, but I don't think going forward I would want to play it. And I think going forward as well, I definitely want to play like more cards that just like kind of benefit me like when I draw for turn. I don't know, I'm still like debating on it, but this was a good for some progress for the upcoming YCS in Pasadena. But just those hand traps, I think we only played 10 hand traps. For spells, we played 3 copies of Starter. This is the most insane card in the deck. This card gets you definitely anywhere you need to be. And then the insane card that I played was 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. This card was actually really good. This card was honestly very, very good. Being able to pitch multiple copies of the Bystial cards, which is also why I kind of want to play more with this deck. Being able to get rid of those that were excessive, if you draw multiple blues or if you draw multiple jets, that's also another way to just draw 2. You're basically drawing a lot in this deck. Like I'll show you, I also played the 2 copies of Talents. I didn't opt for 3 Talents. I thought that was just too much and relied on way too many resources to go ahead and max out on this, but 2 Talents was good. I know during the tournament I drew like at least like 5 or 6 cards. I think I resolved like all 3 Allures and the Talents in the same turn once, drawing me about like 8 cards I think. And as well as like all the other stuff, I just got lost in the sauce basically. These cards do so much for you, and it's really insane how well they are. Talent's probably being the weaker one of these, but again, that's kind of why I want to just up the dark ratios in the deck, just so that way my Allure could be more live at all times. Because there was once or twice I think during the tournament where I ended up having to discard my whole hand off of the Allure, and that was just not a really feel good moment. But definitely feel like these cards were definitely necessary. I mean, Starter of course, but I did like the Allure ratio and I did like the Talents, but I think going forward, I do want to fit more darks to make the Allure a lot better. And then on top of that, we played just some extra spells. We played 2 copies of Cyclone. These were originally Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, but I opted to play Cyclone instead. I was expecting a lot of Runic for this event, but surprisingly, I didn't face against any Runic at all. I really wanted to have an out for the field spell. I wanted to respect Floodgates in the main deck, depending on whatever I played. But I never really used this, so I can't really say if it was good or not. I never really saw it either. I think going forward, maybe cut this in the main deck and just keep it in the side deck, but didn't really play the Cyclones, so can't really say too much there. For one-ups, we played 1 Call by the Grave, whoa, dropped it, 1 copy of Spright Smashers, and then lastly, the Spright Double Cross. I don't know if it was just me that has been playing this deck this weekend, but so far Spright Double Cross has really been kind of mediocre. I know people are playing like the Nimble cards, and I know people are playing like Toad and all that other stuff, but I feel like if you're not playing Totally Awesome, you probably shouldn't be playing this card. This was more neg for me, if anything, during the event. Like, I would have much rather have searched Smashers than searched this. I'd rather, like, I think I like ended up citing this card out a lot. Like, this card wasn't really too good for me, mainly because of like the boards I was ending on. I was really ending off of like Masquerena and Elf most of the tournament, and it was mainly just enough. Like the Double Cross, it never really came up too much for me. I get why the card is good, but I think going forward, if I'm going to continue playing this kind of ratio, if I'm going to keep playing the Bystial cards, I might just end up cutting this and playing the second Smashers overall, because it was honestly just better than Double Cross. That's it for the main deck. Moving on to the side deck, the extra deck. We are playing 2 copies of Gigantic. Shouldn't have to explain this too much. This card is broken. It's basically why the deck works so well. 1 Mannequin Cat, because I did play some targets, or 1 target for it in the side deck. 1 Sky Cavalry, 1 Downer, 1 Zeus. I never use these cards. Honestly, these could just be 3 of anything else in the... These cards could honestly just be anything else. I never use these cards anymore. Like, we're in a strict base tier format, and when the Ishizu cards get here too, like, these cards are just going to progressively get worse, and we don't want that. So I think going forward, these are just going to opt to be like other cards. I don't know what exactly, but I could probably fit room for the Sprite Sprint. That's a spoiler. I am not playing Sprite Sprint in this list because I just didn't see myself needing anything to send to the grave in this deck. If anything, I would have sent like the Wind Up Kitten, or I would have sent like the Red Resonator to just be able to have easy access to it if my Gigantic got stopped. But other than that, I never really needed it. Instead, I just opted to play the 3 copies of Elf. Again, I didn't play Sprint. I don't really like that card too much in this build. I get that other people have had success with it, with like the tier builds or with the Toad builds, but for me, I just couldn't get behind it in this list. Again, I have to do more testing with it because I really do like the Bystial cards in this deck. I kind of want to test playing the Fenrir in here as well because I think that card's also really good. But 3 Elf because, again, I just wasn't playing Sprint. Didn't really feel like I needed it during testing. Just was kind of subpar. 1 Masquerena, card's insane. 1 Dark Charmer, and 1 Phoenix for my Link 2s. Again, with the Downer, Zeus, and Sky Cavalry, I think going forward, I'm going to cut those. I'm probably going to make room for either like a Pit Knight, or I'm going to make room for the Omnius, something, the Xyz, Omnibaru, I don't know the exact name of it, but it's the rank 2 that banishes monsters, basically a Farfa. I don't know the name of it, but I mean, you guys should know, so just let me know in the comments below so I can figure out where it is. But I think going forward, I'll play like those cards, but these Link 2s were really good. They all had their like beneficial usages. Phoenix came up a lot more than I thought it would, but I'm really glad I did play it. And then finishing off the links, we just played the 1 Unicorn, mainly for the Masquerena. 1 Avermax. I summoned this twice during the whole event, but honestly, every time I summoned it, I won. This card is really good, especially when you have the Thunder King out from the side deck that I'll show you. You just end on the Thunder King, and then, or you end on the Avermax during your opponent's turn, and then you just have the Thunder King, Avermax, and then they can't really beat over your Thunder King anymore, so that's really nice. And then you play the Access Code because this is basically your game-winning shot. So that's it for the extra deck, nice 15 card solid. But for the side deck, this is where it's like a little interesting. As you do see, we did play 3 copies of Joel Mockbird. This card's really good. I definitely wanted to respect the Flunder matchup and respect the Drytron matchup. I didn't play against any of those, but this was really good against like the branded tier decks, the Spright decks, the Runic Spright decks. Again, didn't see Runic Spright, but like it was there mainly for that reasoning. Card's really good. It does a whole lot for you. Then we played 1 Thunder King Ryo. This is just the summon off of the Mannequin Cat. I think going forward, I do want to try playing like the other copies, like the Chaos Hunter and the Turtle level 2. I don't know what the hell it was, but whatever it is, the Turtle monster that basically says your opponent can't special summon. Definitely want to try that going forward. I did play the Red Resonator. I don't like winning in time. I really don't. I really do think it means for bad Yu-Gi-Oh skills, but sometimes you just have to go for the win, and I did win with this card twice, I think. Spells, I played 1 Change of Heart. This was for basically baiting out negates, being able to bait out like a Baron. I did use this on. Basically, this is here to negate. It's a 3rd copy of Talents in a way, but definitely liked it. Probably would play it again going forward. The 3rd copy of Cyclone, this card was also really nice, so just having it as knowing that I had it there for any kind of background removal. And then I opted for double Dark Hole in the side deck. I opted for Dark Hole because I'm not really, like, I wouldn't say worried about it, but I wanted to respect it if people were playing like Ibli, or if they were playing Dark Angel, or if they were playing Ra's Disciple. There's been a lot of like random shit I've been losing to at my locals, and I'm just not down for that to happen at a regional. So I wanted to play outs to those kind of monsters. Granted, I mean, only playing 2 copies, probably not going to see it, but I just wanted to know that I had like something to side into in case I did get one of those dropped on me. So that's it for the spell lineup. And then for the traps, I did play 3 copies of Judgment, 2 copies of Anti-Spell, and then 1 copy of a Pointer of the Red Lotus. I think going forward, I might just end up cutting the Appointer, and I don't like doing that because I think Appointer is really good, especially when you're trying to go for game the following turn. When I was playing Runic Spright, I wasn't playing Appointer just because since you lose a battle phase, there's no really big point in playing the Appointer because you're basically just going to lose anyway, and you're down 2,000 extra life points. So Appointer wasn't good in the Runic build. I really wanted to play Appointer this time, but I never saw it, again, because it's at 1. But I think going forward, I might just end up cutting it, trying to find room for something else. I don't know what yet. Maybe one of the targets for a Mannequin Cat. I just don't know. Anti-Spell was fine, and then Judgment was really good. Every time I saw Judgment, I was basically winning the game, and that's basically what Judgment is there to do. It's there to say no, and when you match is that you definitely know you should be winning. But yeah, guys, that's going to go ahead and do it for the deck profile. Let me know what you think down below. I really do like the Bystial cards with Spright. They help you feel fire for the what's it called? like basically this here matchup. Basically, I don't really know what else to say there. It's been a long event, and I'm really tired. I've been definitely overworked, but I mean, hopefully things start changing soon, and everything's looking like it's going on the upper hand. And I really do like all these cards. I do love playing Spright. I know a lot of you guys are probably sick of it on the channel right now, but I'm having a really good time, and I definitely enjoy playing this game, and I think the format is in a really good shape right now. Not really having to worry about Scythe, not really worrying about Mystic Mine. I think those cards are kind of like leaning their way out of the format, which is weird because Scythe is still a hell of a card, and then don't get me wrong, Mystic Mine is too, but it's also just a very unfair card. But there's definitely things that I want to change with this deck, things that I want to try going forward. But I really did enjoy this list, and I think it is really good. And I think with a few modifications in the future, it could be even better. But until next time, guys, this has been Papa, and I will catch you all in my next video. Take care, everyone.